Hey,
How's it going?
pretty good. How are you doing? Oh, I lost you again. Oh, all right. Oh, oh. Hey, what's going on, chat? How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. Sorry, I haven't been streaming in a minute. We're back, so that's cool. Uh,
All right.
oh,
Are we back?
we're
Are we
back.
back?
We're back. Hey,
Okay.
how's it going?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, good. I should have probably brought you on like a little bit beforehand to settle any sort of technical issues, but it is what it is.
Live TV, what can we do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. How are you doing, man? It's good to finally like sit down and talk with you.
Likewise, likewise. I said on the show, it's like your reputation precedes you, so I'm happy to finally talk face to face.
I hope that's a good thing. I mean, because no NBA could go either
For the
way.
most part, for the most part.
For the most part, yeah, yeah. Well, I know because I mean, I don't want to bring this up off of start this on a bad the whole
Go off, go off. Let's
the
get it.
ba-
Let's lay down the beef.
the backlash fishback interview glazing. Kind of like a little bit of a backhanded sort of thing there.
Listen, I didn't say anything bad about yours. I just said I really like theirs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, you'll be happy to know I'm having Rebecca on Friday, so
Shut up, really?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so she begged me to come on. So I was like, well, yeah, fine. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, she really. I literally I quote tweeted they were going back and forth with each other. I was like, hey, if you guys want to like air each other out on the Betty and Basil show, feel free. I would be happy to be the Jerry Springer of the right.
dude. Yeah, that's a good role to have, honestly, because dude, it's just free money.
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah,
come over here and air each other out. Be like, what's up, James? Does her shit stank? What's up? What's up? Christina, is
yeah,
that shit? What's like? Is it shrimpy? What's up?
dude. What? By the way, just to get into that, did you see all the Christina Fishback stuff? What would you think about all that?
So I kind of love it. Well, it actually kind of ties into it, right? Because when we saw your interview with Fishback, we were like, "Fuck, we wish we talked to him before." Because I remember I messaged you like right after,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Fuck, I wish we talked beforehand." Because I really wanted you or anyone talking to him to like press him on that Christina Pushaw connection because there's something there.
yeah,
And I'm glad that Backlash did it, but even when they did it, he was like kind of ready for it in a way to be like, oh, I've only talked to her once, blah, 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 like nothing serious. But there was clearly something there. And I think that by someone pushing and like, people paying attention to that, I don't know what that caused behind the scenes, but it kind of forced that Fisher to come up because it's like, yeah, why is someone who is paid as a consultant for the DeSantis administration advising this guy who, is attempting to be the Groiper candidate, whatever? It immediately raises like questions of like, why is that?
yeah,
Like Donald Trump endorsed Byron Donalds. It's like, okay, so that's what you should be like ostensibly like establishment politics. That's what you should be getting behind. So the fact that you're getting behind this guy exposes that there's like maybe some kind of fissure, some kind of fuck you to Trump, some kind of something. Um, and we don't know exactly what that is. And what my working theory is still that they wanted to elevate Fishback as a kind of Pied Piper to kind of see like, all right, how do we engage with these talking points, right? It's like kind of like, all right, let's make Fishback a generic Groiper America First candidate who's going to say all these talking points. So let's see how a Byron Donalds has to react to that, right? So let's see which talking points land, which talking points flop, where are the weak points, where is he going to attack, whatever. And I think that's what Christina and them were doing in the beginning. But the more he kind of leaned into it, he kind of starts to get a little bit too messy. And Christina at this point is saying, like, oh, the Ron DeSantis had no idea about this, blah 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 blah. It pretty much sounds like she's like being a good loyalist and like falling on her sword because it's kind of like the plan blew up and you
Yeah.
can't have it go back to the main guy. So I think that's kind of what it is. And like even on the Benny Basil show, we said like, I'm gonna tell all my friends in Florida to vote for him, but I'm not gonna tell them to sign up for his email list or to give him any money or whatever. Like, because regardless, it's not like we can force him out of the race. So whatever the election results are, they're gonna say, oh well, these ideas or don't have any legs off the internet, whatever. But if that's the case, we'd rather him have more votes than fewer.
Yeah. I totally agree too with your sort of theory about how he started versus now. He's kind of I think not to take too much credit or anything, but I definitely think me and
Talk
like everybody
bullshit, talk
else.
bullshit.
Well, I'm just saying, like, us putting pressure on him initially, I think is kind of what forced him to maybe put on the America First hat. And I feel like that was really like the sort of nexus point where it's like, you know what I mean?
100%. I think whoever on his team like encouraged him or convinced him that that was a good idea is the reason why this blew up. Like
Yeah.
that is exactly right. Like that is the pivot point where it was like, oh fuck, he's like it's not just like he's saying the talking points where he's generic to our right America First guy. He's now deciding to try to be the Nick Fuentes guy.
Yeah.
And I think you're 100% right where that was the pivot point where this kind of started to go haywire and they kind of lost control of their golem, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And I get like people's reservations about him. It's like totally 100%. And I think you should be skeptical. I mean, like this is politics. You should be skeptical of every single politician.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've gotten into this, like, I don't know, in a weird way, people have gotten very I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a millennial too. It's like I grew up with this like notion that like you just don't trust politicians. Like that was like sort of the thing that we grew up on. And then like people became more and more like political, and even like dissident right people still kind of want to play the party line sort of thing a little bit, and they want to believe and they want to buy into somebody. And I get that. Like you want to have some sort of hope and somebody to be like, okay, maybe not everybody in Washington is like a total shill, like maybe there is like a Mr. Smith go to Washington sort of moment for somebody. But it's like, yeah, you can still like kind of root for somebody and still kind of have like a healthy skepticism about them. You know what I mean? But
I think part of it is kind of like the whole discourse is tainted by the BAP sphere because their whole thing is like trusting the plan, trusting the plan, trusting the plan, right? But for them, the plan has been in place for going on like 8 years now, right? Their plan is to get JD Vance elected. It's not to deliver on anything for the base or whatever. It's just to get Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen, whatever, David Sachs's guy in the presidency so they can like have their crypto markets as liberal as possible and defense contracts and whatever the case may be for that. But it kind of spills over to like us who are not Baptards wanting to almost have our own plan to trust, and we end up sounding like, or some people end up sounding like and looking like kind of like, I don't know, a single mother on her first date. She's back on the market and she's like, this guy's gonna marry me, and it's like, dude, there's no plan for us to trust. We need, like you said, that kind of healthy skepticism. We need to like, and the thing is, it's like you don't want to overcorrect in one way or the other, right? You don't want to like attack anyone who sounds like you and with this like deep suspicion. I understand that, but it's like kind of like love what you're saying, right? But we gotta. Who's this? Why is Christina Buttons with you? I mean, Christina Buttons. LOL. Why is Christina Pushaw with you? Why is And it's weird because you saw this kind of dual pronged approach from the DeSantis camp on how to deal with James Fishback, which I found very interesting. Which was like you had Christina Pushaw pushing him, and then you had Max Nordau. I don't know if you know that account.
Yeah.
He has like the beeper in his thing, doing the very typical, oh, he's a anti-Semite and he dated a 17-year-old and blah 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 blah. So it's kind of like this like kind of like dialectical vice grip where it's like one is pushing and one's attacking. It's like the only person who benefits from that is James Fishback himself through like press and notoriety, but it doesn't actually help people who ascribe to that broader political vision.
Yeah, and you're totally right again about the BAP sphere sort of thing, which like that's something that we can get into because I was like not that I was ever involved in that, but I was I got some
adjacent.
his.
Yeah, we were. I was also adjacent to. You know, it's like we were
Yeah.
all that was a major, you know, anchor point in the market.
Yeah, like I remember back in the day when BAP was running like a Jewish parody account about Janet Yellen, and it was just called like Janet Yellen is a Jew or something like that. And it's like it's just so funny to see how hard this guy has like pivoted, and all these people have pivoted and changed over the course of the past few years, especially like since 2020, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean the James Fishback thing, I do like the guy, like you said, and I think like ultimately it is like it's a net positive to have people like, especially like say what you will about the guy he's a good politician in the sense of like
Mhm.
presenting himself. He's not some like nut job like a Patrick Little or like a Paul
Right.
Nellon that's going out of here like, you know, flying blimps in the San
Right.
Francisco Bay or anything like that. This is a well put together guy, and it's always, I think, beneficial at the end of the day to have somebody that's like that well put together to come out and like espouse a lot of our views and to say some of the things that he's saying. And I mean, clearly he's having some success for it. I think, you know, regardless of the results of the election, he's going to have at least a pretty decent career being a like a pundit or some sort of like consultant of
Mhm.
some type. But
And it wasn't
yeah,
a joke campaign. Like I forget the guy's name in California who's like, we're gonna bleach the illegal immigrants. First of all, I love that, but it's like that's like, you know, that's like a self-aware joke. It's like it's a joke campaign where it's like this was not that. This was like a self-serious campaign,
yeah,
which I
yeah,
think is good.
exactly. Yeah, totally. I mean, and
But
that's
it's
what it
like
should be.
until Nick has a seat or a position or whatever that he knows is winnable and says like this is the guy, then it's not like any of those guys are Nick's guys. So it's like we should always kind of, you know, maintain that, you know, plausible deniable distance, because it's like it's not like the ideas of like mass deportations and rolling back censorship and all of this stuff. It's not like those are like trademarked policy positions. You know, it's not
Yeah.
like those are just things that we agree with and that we want, and that anyone with like with an ear to the ground would know that that's appealing to us.
Yeah, and another important point that you made too. It's like, yeah, it's because I think one of the biggest concerns initially too was again like this heavy push to push this guy as like Nick's candidate, the Groyper
Right. That's
candidate,
what
you
raised my
know.
hackles immediately.
Yeah. Oh, you're a smoker too. Let's go,
Oh yeah,
dude.
yeah. I'm like, I pay rent. I could smoke wherever the fuck I want. Actually, it's like 12 degrees outside. And it's
Dude,
like
yeah, there's no way. Dude, I went outside earlier and I was like gonna die. I had to go check the mail and I'm like, no, I'm not built for this. I'm sorry.
no,
I'm
it's
smoking in the
horrible.
house. Yeah. But yeah, I mean the thing is like I think part of it was to sort of like this narrative to sort of push him as the Groyper candidate, because I think we talked about this in a space one time. It's like, yeah, they push him as the Groyper candidate, he loses, and then they're like, yeah, see, Nick Fuentes' ideals have no efficacy in the real
Right.
world, and these are totally online. So I do think that that's like an important distinction. It's like we could be like, yeah, look, we like the guy, and you know, I like jokingly endorsed him or whatever, and I genuinely hope the guy wins. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but until this is like somebody that has like had like real serious endorsement from Nick, it's like, okay, you're a guy that I like, and that's about it.
Exactly, totally. And my thing too is like I was always wary of the idea of giving your because it's that thing. It's like as if it's not someone who I know where they came from, right? It's like someone who just appeared out of nowhere, basically. I'm like, do not give your fucking information to this guy. You can vote for the primary without giving him your money. You can vote in the primary without giving him your email address or whatever. Like, don't give him a list that he could then just hand over to Ron DeSantis and be like, hey, these are the anti-Semites to your right. Because like I don't know if you saw that thing in Miami just yesterday where they're like going around to people being like, your Facebook post is anti-Semitic. You know, it's
Yeah.
like we don't want we don't want our people caught up in that.
Yeah, and to, not to defend him too much too, because I know some people like on our side are like a little. I think they saw him in the Tucker Carlson thing, and he was kind of talking about like a race blind meritocracy sort of thing, and people are like really upset. It was like he is also running in Florida, which is like one of the most Jewish
Like
states. It's like,
let's be so for real.
yeah, like you can't come out here and be like, you know, HH brother, you know, like that's not going to happen in
Yeah,
Florida.
like I need you to get out of the sauce because you're lost in it. I need you
Yeah,
to. That's like a really big thing that we're always talking about on the show, which is like I I love to talk to people about like their little utopian pet project where I get put in a crystal and sent back to Afghanistan or whatever the fuck the case may be. But that is not what I'm here on the internet to do. I'm on the
yeah,
internet. I'm here to like live in reality and
yeah,
like talk about politics as they exist and what like, you know, it's not, and that's not to like be a cuck for like like them shitting down your throat all the time, but it's also to be like, this is not going to be like a majority white country in the next 4 years. I don't know if that's like a shocker to you. I don't know if that's like, if we could deport 1 million people a year, I would be like, wow, we really started doing something. I would be like, I would genuinely be shocked.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I can't do with the LARP. Cut the LARP.
Dude, that is like the one thing that pisses me off so much is everybody wants to live in this like fantasy land where it's like we're gonna get rid of all the blacks and we're gonna live in utopia and blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, like don't get me wrong, I am as hardcore right wing as like the next guy, but it's like that's first off, that's never gonna happen, and two, I don't even think it's gonna fix all of our problems. Like let's be real, like maybe this is gonna come across as like anti-white, but like the one thing that really annoys me, it's like what like a lot of this like very like white online identitarian group of people like also just sort of refuse to look in the mirror and like realize what kind of problems that whites have too. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, I live in Kentucky, right? It's like, dude, I'm seeing people fent leaning everywhere. It's like there's clearly like bigger problems. Not to say that immigration isn't important by any means, but it's like it's not like some magic we snap our fingers and all the browns go away and then everything's fixed either.
And it's also, it's kind of, it gives me like, I just got on the internet this year. It's like, I can understand if someone just got on the internet, you get involved in a LARP, you think you're a Bronze Age vitalist, you think you're a Nazi, you think you're a whatever, but it's like, dude, you're a paralegal or something. Or like, dude, you're in college, or dude, you work at the gas station. Like, chill the fuck out. You're not a fucking vitalist, whatever. You're not a Nazi. The Nazi party doesn't exist. You are, in effect, because we're talking about engaging in electoral politics,
Yeah.
you're a right liberal. You're a racist right liberal. Cool, great. I love that. Nobody on this planet loves white men more than I do. I promise you that. I promise you that. So it's like, it's always funny when they're like, Basil's the enemy of the white race. I'm like, news to me. That's going brand failure. But it's kind of like, after a while, you should like, I grew to resent the LARP. I resent when I see grown men engaging in this way where I call like playing with dollies, where they'll be like, oh, Vance is gonna deport Usha. And it's like, dude, put the little dollies away, step out of the sandbox. Remember, you're a grown ass fucking man, and let's talk like reality. Like, I like to have fun as much as the next guy. Make any kind of joke you want, make ever like whatever. But it's like, don't. If I'm making a political point and your retort back to me is like, well, that's why we're gonna send you back. I'm like, all right, cool. Can I go on the last plane? It's like, it's whatever. We're just like fucking. We're playing make believe together.
Yeah, that's the thing that really bugs me because I had Doomernet on like a week or so ago, and I was talking to him, and like I was like, so like, what is your like I like him, he's a cool kid,
Yeah. I'm also
talk-
very sympathetic to the young kids. So like,
yeah.
to the young guys, I give a lot of leeway. I'm like, dude, you'll realize as you keep engaging with this. So it's like, I'm very hesitant to like discount any of it. Like, another great one is Ignansis. Ignansis is a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like 37 and it's like, dude, I got on this maybe when I was like 28. So I was already kind of, had my shit together a little bit, not too much, but a little bit before I got into all this. So it's like, yeah, I mean, he's like 19, so I tend to give him a little leeway, but it's like him and this whole like TRS crowd and a lot of people, not just them, not to single them out, but they're talking about like, because I was like, well, like, how do you plan to accomplish your goals politically? And they're like, well, we just need the United States to fall. And then it's like, dude, that's never gonna happen. Like, that's never, like, I remember Arvel was saying the same thing. He's like, yeah, a meteor's gonna hit the earth and then I'm gonna be the, it's like, dude, just go build your fucking trailer park in Arkansas, bro. Like, it's fine. Like, I have no problem with that, but like, let's be real, let's drop the LARP here for a minute. Like, that's never gonna happen. The United States is never gonna fall. Like, it is what it is, man.
And the thing is too, it's like, we can understand, like, we talked about this on the show too, where it's like, there is obviously a distinction between the American nation and the American empire, right? And obviously the American empire is subverted by this, foreign ethno-religious group that puts their ethnic religious interest before the American nation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, the American nation is the reason we have a middle class. We don't want to destroy, like, the whole point is that I want me and my neighbors and Americans, white men, to like live better, more prosperous lives, not to plunge us into chaos for this kind of idealized whatever. And it's like, I will talk a little bit of shit about the TRS guys right now to say that fundamentally what it comes down to is the TRS era, the whole alt-right era, was deeply confused about whether they were doing politics or whether they were doing media market entertainment, right? My whole contention is that when we're here on Twitter, what we're doing right now, this is a microcosm of the entertainment industry, right? This is a media market. There's take sellers, blah, 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 the patronage networks, the whole thing. And TRS at that in those early stages really didn't understand what they were doing and got very confused about these things. So their LARP, which is their brand, right, got confused with the politics that they were espousing, and it often leads to this kind of like puritanism, this kind of, you know, purity spiraling, this kind of drama baiting, whatever. And ultimately what it happens now is that, and now in the big 2026, we see someone like Nick flourishing and thriving and having completely blown open a hole in the discourse for us to at least openly be able to talk about things like Jewish supremacism and all of these things. They have this chip on their shoulder because they're like, well, it should have been us at the top of the media market. We're only irrelevant nobodies because we're banned and we're censored and blah blah blah. And let's just be so fucking for real. If everything was completely equal, completely even, and you weren't censored and you weren't banned, Nick would still be that guy because Nick is entertaining and is not, you know, whatever you guys are doing.
Yeah, he's not holding rallies in a barn, you know, with Eric Stryker being like national justice meow. You know, I mean, me and TRS, we go way back. It's a long.
Baruch Hashem, good luck to all of them. But the point is, it's like, yeah, okay, I can understand your purity about like, oh, this is my 3-hour stream and you should watch it. Blah, blah. Sorry, buddy, this is a media market.
Yeah.
Make the content better, sell it better, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and then they'll be like, oh, Basil, you're saying this and that just because you don't want to step on Nick's toes in the media market. I'm like, yes, that's my critique that you're using against me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good luck with your media career. I'm like, good luck with your nothing.
Yeah, good luck with your like all of your paywalled content that nobody watches because it's all paywalled. Like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. Like that whole crew is so funny to me because, like, again, like I don't even really like the, you know, back in the day I definitely like went at him. Me and Mike have had debates and whatever, but like now it's like I'm like matured and I'm like wiser and I'm like, you know, like I look at it like if those guys were to win, my life would be better, you know, like probably like fundamental disagreements aside, like yeah, that'd be great, but they're never going to, but they try to like posture and pretend like they're going to, and it's like, dude, Mike, I'm sorry, man. You've been doing this for like 10 years and you can't even crack 10K followers on Twitter. I mean, like, it's like I got banned originally on Twitter in like 2016. And so I was until like 2 years ago, I was making a new Twitter account every month. And guess what? Yeah. Cracking 10K every month, dude. Like it was fucking nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, at a certain point,
I burned through 10 Basil accounts, and it was the same thing. It would bring them up to like 2,000, 3,000 nuked, 2,000, 3,000 nuked. I've had this account since January of last year, and it's about to hit 13,000. It's like, it's not that difficult to do if you're clear about what you're doing. And you know, a perfect example to like as the counter example is someone like Richard Spencer, where it's like Richard Spencer, when you talk to him in the big 2026, he doesn't have this chip on his shoulder. Yeah. It's kind of like the past is the past, you know, and it's kind of just constantly moving forward, where it's what I see with them is like this constant bitterness about like how they were wronged in the market and they should be the top take seller in the sphere. It's like, you can't, what arbiter are you crying out to? There's no arbiter in the market. You just do it or you don't.
Yeah, and what's funny about the TRS guys too being aggrieved, it's like their entire from 2017 onward, essentially, it felt like all they were trying to do is essentially kneecap anybody coming up. I mean, like they countless times went after Nick unprovoked, even though Nick was like friendly to those guys. I mean, what was it? What's that guy? James? What the fuck? Dude, he's so irrelevant. I forgot his fucking name.
Exactly.
Alsup, James Alsup. You know, used to do a show with Nick, and then went off, did the TRS thing, and like all they did was talk shit about Nick all the time, which is part of the reason why I became like their number one op, essentially, because. Like seriously, the luckiest bet I've ever made in my entire life. I wish they had like the Kalishi or whatever, the betting app back then. Yeah. Because dude, I saw Nick on RSBN. I was like, oh, this kid's the future. I love this kid. He's awesome. And I wish I would have just put like $10,000 on him being like the future of the dissident right wing. I'd be a millionaire now. But yeah, I've always, you know, and like, so I don't know.
That same point really quick is that, you know, I've always operated on the thing of like, I have certain political lines that I won't cuck on, right? Which is like mass deportations, censorship, and more recently, a full-throated critique of Jewish supremacism, right? And where it's
Yeah.
like that is like now able to be done, where it's like, okay, so it's for me, I'm like, um as long as we're not cucking on those three things, I'm like, I'm just nice to whoever's nice to me, and I'm mean to whoever's mean to me, right? The
Yeah.
bapsphere came for me, so I'm like, fuck the bapsphere. The TRS people, for almost a year, they loved me because it's like they squeezed me for every bit of analysis they could get out of me about this, like media market, these patronage networks, all this type of stuff. Like, all I would spend like literally a decent amount of time in their discords to be like, let me sketch it all out for you. These people know these people are in this publication at this event, it's sponsored by this people, blah 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 blah. And then the second that they saw, Nick liking me and shouting me out and shouting Benny out, it was like immediately a switch up, and like they wrote an open letter, like as though we were like some sort of party, and like denouncing my subversiveness. I was like, dude, I'm not here for that. I'm here to have a good time and yappa yappa yap on the internet.
Yeah, that's so funny, dude. Like, what's funny is like initially when I first like ran into your account, I thought you were like a TRS. I think I even commented something. I was like, "Yeah, fuck TRS, they suck," because I thought you were like a TRS guy initially, and I was just like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I guess he's some TRS guy, but and then I started like listening to your space. I was like, "Oh, he's pretty cool. Okay, all right, he sees what's up. All right." Because like
Yeah,
I mean
no, I
that's
always hated the Nazi LARP shit. I always
yeah.
hated that shit. I never got into it. I've always said white nationalism isn't a political movement. It's an ideological lens. Like, it's how you view things, right? But it's not like a political movement in which you have like, you can excise someone from your movement because they have an Asian wife or whatever the case may be. It's like, it's just a lens through which to analyze something. It's like, if that's good for you. It's like, as long as you're not, it doesn't lead you to roundabout, supporting migration or supporting censorship or supporting like running around for Jewish supremacism. But it's like, yeah, no, I was never a part of that. That was like, I came on the internet in like 2018. I started like going on Twitter, but I was a lurker. And then COVID, I started like posting, but it was like that kind of like post left era where it was like you had like, Red Scare and Amy Therese and, the Fed Post and the Good Old Boys. And they were kind of like constantly fighting with like the Chapo Trap House people.
Yeah.
But it's because they were like trying to like remove themselves from the left. And like I kind of followed the Amy Therese trajectory of like post left to dissident right. And
Yeah.
in that trajectory, I came to realize like, oh, wait, the Red Scare girls are in the same patronage network as the Bapsphere. There's all the same sponsors of all their events, all the same things. They're like two wings of the same patronage network. And at that time, if you said shit like that, they would gaslight you to the ends of the earth. Like, what are you talking about? We don't like them. Da da da. They're like, and then it was like, and if you had said anything negative about them, you'd have BAP in your group chats being like, no, we actually need the girls because the girls are spreading our message. And I'm like, and I would DM BAP and I would say like, they're pro-trans. And the whole trans thing is about censorship. It's not about like degeneracy, whatever. It's about expanding the Civil Rights Act so that way it's like you can't speak at work because now you could get fired for just saying that men can't be women. Forget about saying like, being race conscious or being anti-war, whatever the case may be. It's like if you get fired for saying men can't be women, you're very precarious in your workplace. Same thing online. If the terms of service reflect that, that's a mode of censorship. So I would say to BAP, I would be like, these girls are pro-trans, and he would like try to gaslight me in the DMs like, oh, I don't know who these people are, blah, 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 blah. Then fast forward to like 2023, 2024, it's like, it's undeniable that they're part of the same patronage network, and that's why they had the tranny in Man's World.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, that was the whole thing. That's funny though. I was going to ask you what your origin story came up, and I was kind of like going to suspect you kind of came from that sort of like Red Scare post left milieu or whatever, but milieu rather. But I don't want to insinuate anything, of course, but.
I mean, the voice and the limp wrist kind of gives it away. I wasn't a hard right TRS guy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I've heard some audio clips about some guys who like race play over there, so maybe it could have been.
Dude, yeah, that's yeah.
The Asian twink ruined it for me. It was just too much screaming.
But no, that is interesting. That was never a world I got like tapped into too much. Was the whole Red Scare thing? Just because I mean, like primarily, like honestly, I became right wing because of my misogyny more so than anything else. It was just like, yeah, Gamergate. Like I saw what they did to
Yeah.
video games, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this. Because I mean, but like you bringing up the trans thing though, with like the like it's not really about the trans thing. Because I don't really hate trans people. I don't have a problem. I mean, I don't think it's a healthy way to live by any means. But it's like I'm at the point now in
It's
my
not
life.
like I
I'm
have
like,
a knee-jerk kind of chuddish response to be like, "What the fruit?" It's like,
yeah.
no, it's like whatever, gross or whatever however you think about it. What's actually important about it is the fact that they expand the Civil Rights Act to make them a protected class.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's not necessarily about like the individual person or the you know whatever the lifestyle choice or like I don't give a shit. I'm too old to care about everybody's lifestyle choices or whatever, dude. But it's like yeah, it is emblematic of a larger issue, and I think that's what what sort of gets lost in the sauce, especially with a lot of like mainstream conservatives too, because it's like I mean they lose their shit over this trans thing, but it's always like so like narrowly focused, and it doesn't really breach the larger focus of like oh no they're actually using this to silence white people essentially, like white
Exactly.
men, you know.
This Dave. This is what like Matt Walsh and what's the other guy's name?
Michael Knowles.
No, and what the other guy at the Daily Wire, the other Catholic guy, Michael Knowles. Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah, that's
Oh,
what I
sorry.
said.
Sorry. Yeah, Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh. What they've been doing recently is like declaring victory on the trans issue, and all they've ever done was like focus on the downstream absurdities, which is like bathrooms, sports, even child transitions, right? And it's like all of those things are the absurd excesses that stem from the premise of recognizing gender identity and expression in the law.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, I don't give a fuck about women's sports. Who the fuck gives a shit about women's sports? It's
Yeah.
about the Civil Rights Act and censorship. And they don't want to talk about that because that is a much more difficult battle because the left is very happy to give up stupid shit like bathrooms or whatever, so long as they could get you fired for saying men can't be women.
Yeah, which is fucked up. I actually like the gender neutral bathrooms. I'm not like, are you kidding me?
Love a gender lock. I love a lock
Dude,
on a bathroom.
yeah, you're in a bar at like midnight. You got to piss. You've been drinking like 12 beers and you got to piss, dude. And there's some guy in there probably puking his brains out in the men's. It's like, I'm going to the girls. I don't give a shit.
Also, I love watching a mixed sex UFC fight. Are you kidding me? It's so entertaining. I'm like,
Dude.
bring back the Coliseum.
Yeah, I'm totally for that, dude. Like, please, like, put like fucking Conor McGregor in there with Ronda Rousey. I would pay $100 to watch that, dude.
I would bet on Ronda Rousey. I'd bet like $1 on Ronda Rousey.
Dude, yeah, like I like grew up playing like wrestling games where basically I would just spend like hours like being like the Undertaker, just beating the shit out of Stephanie McMahon, like throwing her off the fucking Hell in a Cell, dude. You know what I mean? Like I love that shit.
You predicted this, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was ahead of the curve on this one. It's super entertaining. Like I saw that video that just like went. I guess this is going viral. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like these like midget bodybuilders are going up against.
Saw that. Yeah.
Isn't it the best thing ever? Like why is Matt Walsh trying to take this away from us, dude?
I'm like, put one of the girls and two of the midgets in a ring and have them go at it. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fair. I think that evens out.
Yeah, it'd be super entertaining. It's awesome. Like I don't get it.
It also gives all this cover to people like a Lauren Southern or whatever to like profess these kind of quote unquote right wing bona fides by like critiquing the most like tepid excesses of it. Meanwhile, she's over here boosting Brianna Wu or boosting Ashley St. Clair or always punching right saying, oh, they're talking about repealing the 19th. It's like, dude, we're only allowing this to happen because the trans question is such low hanging fruit, and you still only attack like the lowest hanging of the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, and all it's ever been really is just like a release valve, right? It's something that the left has basically allowed people like Matt Walsh and all these other people to talk about because they realize that it's like so unimportant to them at the end of the day. Like they're never really gonna. Like, there's no changes are ever going to be made about it. Like they realize just let them bitch and complain, let them have this sort of blow off valve, and then they're not going to focus on anything that's actually like seriously important.
Well, this is actually how it works out in a broader sense too, because it's like, for the left liberals, right, what they do to advance censorship is pushing the trans stuff. For the right liberals, what they do is they push Israel and like anti-Semitism to push censorship. So these are the two prongs that they use to advance censorship. So what happens is you have left liberals like, for example, Glenn Greenwald or an Anna Kasparian or whatever, who are allowed to criticize Israel, but they'll snap back into line and punch right on gay issues and trans issues. Whereas on the other side, you have people like Nancy Mace and Billboard Chris and, you know, others like that, libs of TikTok, who are able to attack the trans question, but they'll snap back into line on the Israel question. So either way, on either side, almost like a yin yang, they're like, they'll allow the criticism of the other thing so long as you snap back into line on the other thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a really interesting way to think about that. Actually, I didn't really think about that in terms of the sort of dichotomy, but it is true. I mean, because it's so funny to see, like, especially like post October 7th, like, you know, there's been like there's a lot of this like influx now with like talking about Israel, and there's been so many different people, and I think this also sort of happened within like even I guess the larger dissident right as a whole, because you have these people like Suleiman coming in, Jake Shields, and all these other people coming in now, and it's like, again, like not that I ever demanded like any sort of like ideological purity from any of these people. It's like we all kind of sort of knew, it's like, okay, we're in agreement on this particular thing, but there's always going to come to a point where it comes to a head, and then you hear like somebody like Suleiman, for instance, like saying like, well, he's pro-immigration, he's pro, you know, the browning of the UK and of America and things like that. And it's like, yeah, there's always going to be these sort of pain points where people always snap back and forth. And I think too, like a part of the problem with a large point of the right, they're so like willing to give their loyalty to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, or like a pundit, or like just like a take seller, to borrow your term. It's like, like if you just say like a couple correct things, like people are like willing just to like, oh, I love this guy. And then when
they'll attack on their behalf. And it's, I always find it very, I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm critiquing your favorite take seller, but I'm not in your fandom. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to critique this guy as a guy in the market just like anyone else. But these people who kind of, like you said, they kind of like just, they offload their thinking onto their favorite take seller. So they kind of become like these, like, you know, brainless foot soldiers for them. When it comes to the Suleiman thing, right? For me, I'm always like, I don't give a fuck what a non-American has to say. Like, I forget about like whether I'm American or not. I was born and raised in America. Like, whatever. I'm an American. Like, I will listen to an American. I will not listen to an, because the thing is, I was always spoke to Suleiman once, and it was after the National Guard getting shot by the Afghan guy. And it came up very briefly about like me being American. I was like, well, I'm American in a way that you'll never be British. And I was like, but I don't want to talk about this because I know it's going to derail the conversation. We're like, we're agreeing right now. I want to maintain this like agreement on this thing. I don't want to like have, but he couldn't. He was like, what you mean that I'm not British like you're American? He's like, you're not American either. I'm like, I actually am, because I was born and raised in America. It's very different. Like, sorry, I actually do believe America has magic soil in a way. I think that there is something uniquely providential about this continent, about like leaving the old world behind and leaving your old connections behind. That it's like, because of course there is obviously such thing as a heritage American, right? But like, foundational Black Americans are Americans, right? The heritage American only exists, the white American only exists in relation to the red Indian and the black slave. It's like, it's always going to be this kind of like multiracialized nation, or like this multinational nation, in the way that like England has an ethnos. There are British people, there are French people, there are German people, right? So it's like, my great grandchildren could never be French, right? But I'm American, my children will be American. It's just, it is what it is. It's like kind of like living in reality, where it's like, if you put, someone will be like, oh, I'm from New Zealand and I have Anglo blood, I'm more American than you, even though I've never set foot there. I'm like, dude, let's go take 1,000 people off the street, put my voice next to your voice, and ask them who the American is. Sorry, I live in reality. But it's like kind of like this thing where it's like you were talking about, like all of these people kind of coming in and this influx. That's why I'm like, we have to dual wield these litmus tests, because the whole reason why I kind of blew up in the first place was in that post-left era. I was kind of the guy being like, hey, so this trans issue's coming up. Men can't be women, right? And they fucking hated me. They hated me. But it was because this was this kind of dividing line. This was a line that you couldn't cross and still be associated with the left or on the left. They'll let you say racist things. They'll let you say homophobic things. They'll let you say whatever. But you cannot clear-throatedly say, men can't be women, we don't have gender identities, it shouldn't be recognized in law. Then you're off the plantation. So it was like a litmus test on the left. But then when we were on the right, with the dissident right and stuff, it's like the Israel question is that litmus test, like I said. So it's like we have to be able to dual wield these litmus tests. So as we kind of, it feels like we're doing this kind of populism redo. And it's like, okay, cool. So if you're coming from the left, Anna Kasparian, Ryan Grimm, whatever, Glenn Greenwald, you like what we're saying over here about Israel? Real quick, can a man become a woman? Can men give birth? Do we have gender identities? If you can't pass that litmus test, get the fuck out of here. And similarly from the right. So it's like if you have people coming from the right who are now becoming more like America first, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Real quick, is Barry Weiss an Israeli spy? Oh wait, really quick, is like say something explicitly and clearly that expresses that you understand that there is an issue of Jewish supremacism and in-group loyalty and blah 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 blah. So that way you start filtering out from both sides, and then what you're end up getting left with is like something much more stable.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Nick had a really good point. Maybe it was like a week or so ago. He made me like a little Telegram post or something about that, like about, I think it was in response maybe to like the Jake Shields thing and the Venezuelan thing, where he's talking about how like the dissident right really hasn't done a very good job of taking these sort of like libertarian leftists and like forming them in this sort of like right wing ideology, you know, and it's like how we have to sort of go through this sort of refining period, you know, because I do think that's like part of the problem is that there is this sort of like intersectionality between the left and the right in terms of like the Israel issue. It's like whether you look at like the Harvard Free Palestine protests and things like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't hate those people. I don't want them to get doxxed or anything like that. But they are leftists, you know. Granted,
Right.
like it's just on that one specific thing we do agree. Like, but it's like, yeah, if we ask them about the trans thing, they'd try to fucking shoot me in the face or something, you know, because I say that there's two genders, right? So it's like people have to be able to sort of make these sorts of distinctions, and we kind of have to like constantly have these little like shit tests, you know, to just make sure that people understand like where we stand and to push people to start to understand our ideas further. Like if you're not like formed in this sort of like coherent worldview, like the Israel thing doesn't really matter. If there's like no grounding for any of that, it's like the Israel thing only matters insofar as that they have control over America, and I want America to be a good place. And there's like, I have a very specific set of criteria in which I need to be fulfilled in order to make America a great place, right? Like, I don't hate Israel just because, like, they're Israel. I don't like, you know what I mean? It's like, that has nothing to do with it. And there's a lot of people, I think, that are like that. It's like, no offense, it's like the Gaza genocide or whatever. It's like, that's a horrible tragedy. I feel bad or whatever. Right. But, like,
people die every day.
Exactly. I mean, there's people in fucking Zimbabwe, you know, cannibalizing one another right now.
If I call it a genocide here, I'll get deplatformed. I'll get removed from institutions. And that's the thing about where it's like these kind of shit tests. The shit tests that are important are the ones that are directly tied to the things that censor us.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's almost like we can agree or disagree or argue or whatever, but we can't do it if there's, like you said, like this loaded gun pointed to our head of censorship. So that's why it's like those have to be like non-negotiables, and it has to be like you have to say out of your mouth, leftist, the thing that you would otherwise censor me for. You have to say out of your mouth, right lib, the thing that you would otherwise censor me for by calling me woke right or whatever. So you have to kind of incriminate it's almost like an Epstein type of shit where it's like, I don't need you to fuck a kid in front of me. I need you to say men can't be women. I need you to say that the Jews like run the media or whatever the case may be. Like, I need you to say it with your whole chest, so that way you can't go back to polite normie con Daily Wire society, because that's like the kind of thing, that's the kind of conceit where it's like they'll play footsies with you until you do something that they don't like, or their bag gets frustrated, and they'll be like, I saw the racism of the right, and you know who will welcome them with open arms? Heritage Foundation and Daily Wire and whatever. And the same with the left. Like Anna Kasparian will play footsies with us, and then she'll be like, I saw whatever, and then she'll go right back to the DNC, the Young Turks, and blah blah blah, and like that's the safety. So you have to kind of sever their connection, their tether back to that our institutional opposition.
Yeah, that's so true too. Because like, I mean, look what happened with John Doyle. It's like, dude, I was friends with John Doyle. Like me and Nick both. Like we knew him. He knows all the relevant information, you know. But he chooses not to talk about it. He chooses to keep all of those views private, close to the chest, because he wants to worm his way into the system and have, like you said, this nice, comfortable little contract at the Blaze, and you know, he wants to like shine.
He didn't jump onto a sinking ship.
Dude, right? Like, out of all the outlets to like suck dick for, it's like the Blaze, bro. Like,
well, really, what he's sucking dick for is Passage Press, I Am 1776, Claremont BAP, Jonathan Keeperman, Wren, whatever. And the only people that are dealing with them are the Blaze, because of like, you know, Yoram Hazony and all of these people, and Barry Weiss. So it's like it's very few options for you. It's like, to me, that's like diminishing returns. It's like, that's not the future.
Yeah,
But
no.
good Baruch Hashem, good luck for you, you fucking snake.
No, I mean, no, hey, he's pulling at least like 9K views on YouTube right now. I mean, it's pretty
Whoa, he's almost pulling Betty and Basil numbers.
big.
Because we're about like I think like 6 or something episodes in, and we're like at 7,000, 8,000 episodes views an episode.
Yeah.
So it's like, once we hit 10K, your videos, I mean, Jonathan Keeperman and Chris Rufo, their things get between 10 and 20K K views an episode. So I'm like, once we hit 10K, we're competing with you.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not, and it's like, you have a Blaze contract, you have Glenn Beck's whole network behind you, and it's like, you're competing with 2 wino faggots in the Jersey Shore, like doing this every other week and being messy. Like, okay, we'll see you in a year.
I mean, it is an entertaining show, to be fair. So far more entertaining. Yeah, no, far more entertaining than anything John Doyle's ever done in his entire life. You know, like, let's be real.
Thank you. That bar is very low, but I'll take the compliment.
Dude, I remember John, one time we were in a group chat, and somebody like brought up his merch or whatever. He's like, "Oh, I'm not selling it anymore," and I'm just trying to be nice. I'm like, "Oh, that sucks. You had such great merch." He's like, "Oh, do you want me to send you some?" And I'm like, "Fuck, yeah, please."
Yeah, please. I can't wait to rep that shit.
Dude, he sent me like 3 of his shirts or whatever, and I'm just like, this is so. I'm never fucking wearing any of this shit, dude. Like, not even to the gym. You know what I mean?
No,
like, I threw it away. I felt so bad, but it's like one of his like says like black person expert. I'm like, where the fuck am I gonna wear this? I live in Kentucky, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the joke?
Heckin' based, so based.
Yeah, well, that was the thing too. They all went through this like phase where if they just said black person, they really were like patting themselves in the back, like, oh, was that edgy? It's like, yeah, I don't know, say white genocide, you know?
And that's the thing too. It's like, actually, I hate all of it, because I'm like, what are you? Oh, you're gonna say TND? You're gonna say send them back? You're gonna say put them in the crystals? But we got to vote for JD Vance. Go fuck yourself, actually. Oh, Bronze Age vitalism, this, but oh my God, what Hamas did was so brown. Okay, so what the fuck are we doing now? Like, so it's like, it actually like rubs me the wrong way, because for guys who aren't media market literate yet, who don't see that this is like a media market and these are how this works, they get lost in it. And it actually fucking makes me sad, because of how much I love white men, when I see like articulate, not ugly, decent white person pretending that like BAP is my friend and let me post my physique on the timeline so that they could use it as branding. It's like, dude, take your own side, as Nick might say. It's like, why are you debasing yourself for the profit of this fucking Romanian gypsy and this fucking Canadian faggot and this like brown British guy? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's crazy. By the way, I need your expert opinion on this, because I get called this a lot. Do I look like Captive Dreamer? Just be honest. You could be honest.
Can I say something that I used to always say about Captive Dreamer?
Go ahead.
When he first got into it with what's that guy's name from Australia? Drew something.
Oh, Pavlo or whatever.
Yeah, he put their faces next to each other, and I was like, Drew, take this down. You are so much uglier than him. And I would say, I've said it multiple times, that it's not my proudest wood. It's not my proudest wood. I mean, so if I said yes, it's a compliment.
Oh, I'd hope I look better.
Send me your Cash App.
I'm banned on Cash App. I'm sorry.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. You were going wild on there.
Yeah. Well, Well, so me and my buddy Jimbo, we used to do like a parody show. I just called it White Power Radio. And it was like a joke, basically to like lure in these sort of like wignet types and just like let them talk, because they're all insane, like Hitler's in Antarctica, time traveler type shit, And it was super fun.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Charlie Kirk's down there. Candace is building a spaceship like in the thing,
Going to Agent Stuber right now.
Yeah, they're going to Agartha. That's where they're going,
Yes.
But
Nicki Minaj is there.
Yeah. But what was funny was I had my Cash App in there because it was just like a Twitter Space thing, and I still wanted to make money off of it, And I was making pretty good money, a couple $100 for like a 2-hour Twitter Space from laying in bed. I was like, yeah, that's pretty sick. But yeah.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah, but then I'd get these like wingnats that are in there, like just full R's, like in the Cash App memos, and I think Cash App was like, okay, yeah, this guy's doing some shit, and I'm like, no, it's parody.
No.
I'm like Stephen Colbert, I promise, But Like, no,
You're
they
like,
would buy it.
I love Israel. What are you talking about? I can't even have a cash app these days. What's going on here?
Yeah, luckily Venmo's been good to me, but you know, fingers crossed on that one. I don't
Right.
know.
Oh, actually, I can't. The Venmo's docked. So whatever. It's bag fumbled. I go on these white men's thing and they stay fumbling the bag, and I'll be like, cash. I'll be like, what do you mean? I'm like, bag fumbled. If you don't want to, I don't like losers. Oh man. But actually, speaking of Candace, did you see this thing today that she got into with Dave Rubin?
No, no, I've been offline today.
So Dave Rubin was like, "Oh, actually, Candace told me at dinner that she hated Charlie, blah 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 blah." And Candace was like, "Well, actually," she said something that was like, "Oh, you tried to groom one of your employees that worked for me at some point by trying to make him gay, whatever," which was not the interesting part to me. The interesting part to me was like, "And you said that you did drugs with Peter Thiel, and he gave you a $5 million loan to buy your house." And I was like, "Wait, you were doing drugs with Peter Thiel and he gave you a $5 million loan? Oh, you guys were getting off into some shit." I'm like, to be a fly on that wall. God nerfed me, man. If I was like a 15-year-old twink, I would have been the king of the dissonant right.
Oh yeah, no, easily, man. Just one Amfest, dude. That's all you need.
Put this brain in the body of a 15-year-old twink.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to say anything bad about Basil. You'd get thrown off a balcony.
yeah, yeah. You got to use like somebody like Ignatz or somebody as your like avatar. You know what I mean? Just put your
We're
brain.
working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
And we call that sexlectics as praxis.
Yeah, I'm not like, first time I saw Ignatz, I was like, that man, that's a hot chick, because I saw him at like AFPAC 4. It was like a dark club, you know what I mean? I just saw the blonde hair. I'm like, oh, who's this hot bitch? And it's like, oh no, it's Ignatz.
Like, watch your mouth. That's Apollo's lover.
No, I love Ignatz. Dude, he gave me a copy of Silent Hill 2. I'll never disrespect him ever. He's amazing.
He's been making some great content out there in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's
That
he's
shit was
like
hilarious.
yeah, like it's like the first like man on the street content that I can actually like sit there and like watch, because it's actually really entertaining.
Oh, when they showed the picture of Red and the guy was like some sort of Middle Eastern, I lost it. Like, you know he hates to see that.
I'm always like dreading if he ever puts like my avatar's picture up in one of those. Like I'm just like, man, I hope not. Flood, don't roast me. I get enough on a daily, man.
Oh man.
But yeah, we love Ignatz. He's awesome. But so you do your show Saturday nights, right?
So far we've been doing it every other Saturday. So we just did one this past Saturday, and then starting in February we'll be doing it every Saturday.
I gotcha. Yeah, see, because you keep sending me the link. I always have to like kind of put the replay on Sundays, because we do our show Saturday night too. So it's like,
sorry, we didn't mean to step on your toe. But yeah, I sent you the link for the live stream. But so many people would be like, "Link's dead, link's dead." I'm like, it's up on the thing now. It was like if you wanted to catch it live. But my sincere hope is to like never do it beyond a weekend show.
yeah.
And just work 2 days a week. And it's like, yeah, watch AF during the week, and then he'll leave you with your not gay uncles during the weekend. And it's like, it was in the Venezuela thing was happening too. You're like, look, and Nick's gone. It's like, even your stepdad who stepped up isn't here. He left you with us. Go make me martini, bitch.
Yeah, no, that's what I was like, dude. I remember I just happened to randomly wake up at like 1 a.m, right when it all popped off, and I'm like, and Nick's not live? Oh, crazy. I guess I'll have to cover the Venezuelan war live as it happens. Is there
a gap in the market? Would you guys like some takes? I know they're not as good as the main guy, but they're good in a pinch.
Dude, the Venezuelan thing was so funny too, because it's like it was like a real moment, I think, from like because Nick was gone. It was so entertaining, because I'm even watching like Groypers kind of like scrambling. You know what I mean? Like they don't really know how to feel about it or what to do. They're like, what's Nick said? It's been 12 hours and he hasn't said anything. It's like, I mean, like, I can tell you're new and it's fine, but like I've been doing this for a while, and so I'm gonna give the take that I think is probably correct, which is that it was really cool. And I just don't know how you cannot look. I don't care what country it is. Anytime I see America flying like a fleet of Black Hawk helicopters Like I just want to put on like the Hulk Hogan, like I am a real American. You know what I mean? Like I do think war is cool. Like I can't help it. Like I'm a heterosexual white man that like grew up,
War
you know.
scares me. I'm scared of war. No, but I mean, it's exactly because of the kind of same thing where it's like, it's a lot of offloading their own thinking onto their favorite take seller. And before like maybe a year and a half ago, I would say I like Nick, but I can't fucking stand the Groypers because it's like if the way I conceptualize it in my head, I'm like, listen, I might not be if Nick is Beyonce, I'm like fucking BB Rexa. Okay. It's like we're not on the same level, but we're doing the same thing. So
Yeah,
it's like obviously I'm not gonna argue with the Beehive because the Beehive are gonna be loyalists to Beyonce and blah 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 blah. Like that's what they should do. But
yeah,
to me, if I ever say it, it's like they're going to be annoying to me, like it's going to annoy me. I'm not gonna fight with your fans, you know? But
yeah,
it's like the same type of thing where it's like it's a good thing to have. I would one to be a take seller is to want your own Groiper army, your own loyal fan base of like diehard whatever. And it's like when it comes to the Venezuela thing, it's like I said this on the show is like I could be totally sold on the Neo Monroe doctrine stuff. Of course, that makes so much sense. Like this is our hemisphere, blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But something that I'm like, it's like a yes and type of thing where it's like, yeah, of course we don't want Chinese and Russian influence in the southern continent, but on top of that, it seems that like a lot of these places that we are supposed to be celebrating these right-wing governments, whether it's like El Salvador or Colombia or Chile or whatever, it's like there's rabid Zionists.
yeah,
So I'm like, honestly, like we can't let's expel all foreign influence from South America, right? It's like we can't
yeah.
just get rid of China and Russia and let Israel have free reign. So it's like, yeah, it's still like, yeah, totally cool Neo Monroe doctrine, but like we need it to be like an anti-Semitic TM Neo Monroe doctrine.
Yeah, I mean that would be the ideal, right? I think the problem is because a lot of the takes it like from the dissident right wing were like, oh well, this is going to benefit Israel, so therefore it's like a bad thing, and it's like, well, dude, you going to work and paying taxes is also benefiting Israel too. It's like at a certain point, like you do have to like sort of acknowledge that like we still need to be able to do things that benefit us and maybe they are also going to benefit Israel. It's just kind of like the sort of bitter pill that you kind of have to swallow, but at the end of the day it's like we just took control of the largest oil reserve in the world, you know. It's like I mean that is like to me ultimately like, and it's not even just oil. I mean silicon, gold, I mean the resources there are like in, you know,
And that's
numerous.
why Greenland is a great example of that because it's
Yeah,
like you can't make that you can't even make that same argument for Greenland. Like
yeah,
no, Greenland is like purely an American imperial benefit. It's like it has nothing to do with Israel.
yeah,
I mean, it can't, and even then, it's like we didn't do regime change in Venezuela. Like the Venezuelan regime is still very anti-Israel. Well, that being said, it's like countdown to when they start selling oil to Israel again, which I'm sure will happen soon or
yeah.
like before long. But it's like it's a perfect example of like Greenland, where it's like no, we're talking about securing the Western Hemisphere, and that one you can't even do this type of like whataboutism about Israel.
Yeah, exactly. Like no benefit to them at all. I mean,
Yeah.
again, like you know, some people would argue that anything that benefits America benefits Israel, but it's like, I mean, that's just such a,
But then
again,
by that logic, we should just like kill ourselves because to hurt Israel.
yeah,
It's like, no,
exactly.
sorry, I love America, I love this country. I'm like, and I'm not going to. It's like there's a difference between treating other geopolitical world powers like Russia and China and Iran as like rational actors who have legitimate, you know, national interests, like when we're talking about Ukraine or whatever, and to understand why they have a problem with NATO encroaching and you know that type of thing, as opposed to like cheerleading for Russia and China and whatever. It's like there's a huge difference. It's like I could realistically say like, no, we instigated the war in Ukraine because we kept moving NATO eastward and we overturned the government in Ukraine and whatever. And obviously that's going to encourage a response from Russia. That's why I didn't like wasn't like, oh my God, what's Russia doing invading Ukraine? How horrible. It's like, no, that makes perfect realpolitik geopolitical sense. It's
Yeah,
like same thing with Greenland. We said it's like, listen, grabbing Greenland's great, but you also have to understand that like grabbing Greenland means that we are further encroaching, we're surrounding Moscow.
yeah,
And it's like they are going to naturally and rationally see that as a hostile act.
yeah. No,
And
totally.
it's like if you want to do it, but do that knowing that your opponents or your competitors on the world stage are also rational actors.
Yeah, exactly. But it's there is something that I can't. I just cannot stand this like self-hatred like as an American. Like I really can't like to be like an American and be cheering for like China or Russia. To me it's like like you are no different at all than like a liberal who like hates their own whiteness, like from like a logic standpoint. Like I just can't stand that. Like I mean obviously like we have problems with America, like we want things to be fixed, but it's like I
We
still
want it
love
to
being
work better for the American. We want the American empire to work for the American nation.
yeah.
Right? It's just basically we want an inverse of how it is now, where the American nation is sacrificed at the altar of the American empire. It's like, no, the American empire should be always serving the interests of the American nation, as opposed to this fifth column within the American nation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like it's completely self-defeating and self-hating, and I don't like it's something where it always reminds me of I remember one time Indian Bronson was trying to make some stupid ass point where he's like, thank God for the dead soldiers in Iraq or something like that. And I was like, I lived and grew up in a time where the United States occupied Afghanistan, killed thousands of people, instability, whatever. And I still know not to do that or say that, because it only hurts the people I like, and it helps the people I hate to
Yeah.
be that kind of like anti-white person. But of course, Indian Bronson's allowed to do it because Mike Solana and Founders Fund and Pirate Wires and Mike Cernovich and BAP, and like, so when you're in network, you're allowed to be an anti-white brown guy. But me, who like literally to the point of like psychosexual fetishism loves white men, I'm like, oh no, he pointed out that we're connected to Barry Weiss, get that brown faggot out of here. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, like that whole thing. It's like the Cernovich stuff too is crazy. Like it's. I mean, that whole network is just so weird to me. Like, that like nobody can see it, because I feel like it's been pretty like transparent now for like a long while because of people.
It's like what really pulled the curtain back.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
kind of really started to, and it was like, so for me, like I said, like if you said this in like 2019, 2020, that it's like, yeah, you could draw direct lines between like Peter Thiel, Barry Weiss, David Sachs, BAP, Anna, fucking Cernovich, Indian Bronson, all of these people, they would look at you like you were crazy, right?
yeah,
But that was like the point of like defending themselves. But it was like two things. It was, one was actually Tranny was like them putting Pariah in Man's World magazine,
yeah,
because a lot of people had the like kind of like chuddish reaction of like, oh, this is so gross. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, but that's like a low vibrational response. The high vibrational response is like, why is that in there?
yeah,
Oh, that's in there because Passage Press sponsored that fashion show. They made that connection with Elena Velez at Urbit Portugal. Urbit Portugal sponsored by Sovereign House. Urbit with which is Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel's thing. Oh, why is BAP jumping on the timeline to defend Anna and Dasha? Okay, this is all one patronage network.
yeah,
And then you could start like throwing all of the events out where it's like, oh wait, so this free press event where Anna is debating feminism, that's like, why is Grimes there and why is Tim Dillon there? Oh, Tim Dillon was with, what's his name? Douglas Murray in the Manhattan Institute. Oh, why is Sovereign House hosting an event sponsored by Claremont in which Chris Rufo is the featured speaker and Curtis Yarvin is there? Oh, okay, because there's a connection between the Manhattan Institute, Sovereign House, Claremont, BAP, all of these. You would just draw the lines. It's like this all publicly available information, but it's like now it's completely undeniable, and that's why they're kind of like dead in the water.
yeah,
It's like it's completely, there's nothing there.
yeah. But that's what I like what you do so much too, because it's like you really go into the connections of everything. It's like something I don't even have the time to go through everything of it. And I mean, I think that I probably know more than the average person, but like even then, you're still like digging stuff up that I had no idea about. And it's like, and it's what's so funny about it. It's like, I think the way that people sort of view this whole sphere of like the dissident right as a whole is like they sort of view it as like a little pet project, and like it's sort of like a naivety. I was like, well, like. Yeah, I think what we're doing is important, but like, it's not important enough to where like, I don't know, a Jewish billionaire would want to like get involved with it. And it's like, no, they totally do, and they have been for 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, like, well, I mean, really, ever since like sort of this explosion of the alt right in 2016 with the Trump election, and I mean, after Trump got elected, I mean, you have Mark Zuckerberg and the CEO of Google saying like, oh, we can never let this happen again. It's like if they're taking notice of what's going on the internet and how it's shaping the elections going forward, you don't think somebody like Peter Thiel, who's like this like autistic billionaire, is not also paying attention and getting involved in some way?
100,000%. 100%, because that's the thing. It's like when we talking about Twitter as a media market, what it is, it's a microcosm of the media market. It's a
Yeah.
pipeline that goes directly to the mainstream, cable news, the New York Times, DC, Los Angeles, Hollywood, like Dasha and all that shit, like HBO, all of that shit. It's so that's how come you see so often the takes that are like kind of like honed and weather ballooned and workshopped on the timeline make their way to the mouth of like Megyn Kelly in 6 months, or the Free Press, or whatever the case may be. It's a direct pipeline, and you brought up exactly that point where it's like the whole BAP sphere. It was a project of Mark Andreessen, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, and what happened was the alt-right exploded in 2015, 2016, but then it imploded at Charlottesville, right? And everyone got doxxed, and everyone got banned, and everyone got this and prosecuted, whatever. So there was this kind of vacuum that was left. And within 6 months, you had Dasha's InfoWars interview, the Sailor Socialism interview, and BAM came out, Bronze Age Mindset.
Yeah.
And within 6 months of both of those things, the first episode of Red Scare came out. But even before the first episode of Red Scare, they were covered on HBO's John Oliver Tonight, or whatever, This Week with John Oliver, or whatever the show was. And it just shows that's by getting, even now when they're pro-Trump, it's pro-Trump as a Trojan horse for JD Vance.
Yep.
Right. And that's what the whole project's like kind of proof of concept is to see whether you can seed this kind of like entertainment ecosystem that can push a certain political line through kind of obfuscation of aesthetics and branding and whatever, so that like they won't come out and say like this is a project to make sure that JD Vance wins in 2028, even though that was true in 2023 and 2024. Right. But back then they would just lie, and it's like, oh, what are you talking about? We just like our aesthetics, we like our Bronze Age, we like our raw eggs, whatever. That was the unstated premise. And what I've been saying for a while is like, as they've ascended to kind of mainstream, right, with Jonathan Kieferman and whatever, and whatever happens to Anna and whatever, all of them, as they become mainstream, there's going to be like this new space growing up that like we're a part of, other people are a part of, that like are kind of like leveling up ourselves. And what's happening, what is like, we need a funder, we need a billionaire, we need a sponsor who sees like, oh, what Peter Thiel did works. That model works. So like, say, one example I always think of is Andrew Torba, because Andrew Torba seems like more of like an ideological type of person who might be able to like splinter off or break off to be like, this isn't doing what I wanted to do, but I have a ton of money and I saw that model works, so let me start throwing money around like Peter Thiel did in 2017, 2018.
Yeah, I don't know if Andrew Torba is going to be that guy, though, unfortunately.
No, I don't think he's going to be that guy, but like something like that. A guy with money who saw that this model works and has a reason to defect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I would love that personally. I mean, I don't know if I'd be a recipient of any of the funds, but if there's any billionaires out there watching, please, like, get in touch.
Barry Weiss, if you're listening, we have to go to war with Iran from a pro-Taliban perspective. I can sell that take with my eyes closed.
No, totally true. I will sell out like 110%.
Oh, and I always tell my audience, I'm always like, listen, I'm making you media market literate so that when I sell out, you could just be like, you go, Basil. You get that bag. Don't listen to me. When I start telling you that we got to go war with Iran for the Taliban, you can say, "Oh, okay, I know what you're doing there." Anyway, I'll tune in next week. Great, thank you. The check cleared.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like, I do think that there is like some sort of utility in that, though, to a certain degree, like of selling out, especially like, I don't know, like people who have been doing this for a long time. I mean, I'm not boosting myself here, but I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, I mean, clearly people like me, people like you, we know the landscape pretty well for the most part. Like, we know kind of the ebbs and flows of how things can be received and how it can't be received, like how to sort of like package something up to sell it to a certain market or a certain audience or whatever. And like, even though like I mean, at the end of the day, I am just some guy that lives in Kentucky. It's like these are sort of skills that you pick up as you do all this stuff. Like it is good. Like, you should treat Twitter as like sort of like a fun place, but like there is like some real like practical skills that you can learn if you approach it correctly and like actually give some effort into like posting and things like that.
Knowing like how group chats work, knowing how takes are home. Because the thing is, like, every notable figure you could ever imagine is on Twitter as much, if not more, than the rest of us. It's just that when they go out on the timeline, they're doing it for a purpose. It's because they have to signal a certain way or say a certain thing or do whatever. And it's not like they're getting like talking points, but it's like just like any of us are. Something happens on the timeline, someone shares in the group chat. People talk about it in the group chat. You kind of see where everyone is, whatever. You got form your own idea. You go out with what you can brand it as, and and you go on with your day. But it's like it's in doing that and in like kind of it is a skill. Like unironically, if I was to do this thing, it'd be like, well, Iran is threatening Afghanistan's water rights, and if they start a war with Afghanistan, it's going to create a larger migrant displacement to Europe. So actually going to war with Iran is an anti-immigration thing. Boom,
Yeah.
done. It's super. It's like actually like so fucking easy to do. It's like but you can only do it if you don't allow yourself to get one, lost in the sauce, and to two, not do the thing where you like offload your thinking onto a different take seller, because then all you're doing is like you're ascribing to their brand, you're buying their brand. So it's like they're the only one who could do it. Where it's like for me, I'm always like, I'm not a Baptist, I'm not a Groiper, I'm doing my own thing, whatever it may be. Like what a Basil branded tweet or take or something sounds like. So it's like whatever it may be, it's like at least like I have that. It's really the success in being a take seller online is an exercise in branding. It's like, can you brand yourself properly?
Yeah, and you're only afforded a few of those too. You can't do it all the time. You know what I mean? You have to know your limit on the.
Because it's like that's the thing. It's like your audience is not. Hopefully, your audience is not retarded. Like they're able to sniff something out. Where it's like, if my account gets hacked and it's telling you that I've developed some sort of Royal Casino coin, don't click the link, buddy.
Okay, Elijah Schaefer, calm down. All right, it's like, okay, I'm not buying the crypto. Thank you.
Fly me out to El Salvador. Someone fly me out.
Dude, I've got beef with Elijah. He's been inviting me onto his show for like a year. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come on. And then every time I respond, like nothing happens. And I'm like, dude, when do I need to shave? If I shave, would that help? If I like slim down,
Send me some pics. We'll workshop them.
Okay. All right.
I'll be like, go with number 3. Go with number 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sending any pics. I can't even joke about it.
I almost had him.
I got to be careful. I got embroiled in a little bit of a controversy like a week ago about a woman sending me pics. So I got to be really careful about this sort of thing.
Women, who needs them? Am I right, buddy?
Yeah. Well, no comment on that. But anyway, I've done pretty good. Okay, for my 10 years in the dissident right wing, I've only had 2 scandals where women have sent me nudes, and I've never sent them anything back, and then they crash out publicly about the fact that they sent me nudes. So I mean, I feel like I'm doing all right.
I think I do the whole like radical honesty bit. Because I'm like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna leak the DMs and be thirsty after white men? You just help the brand, bitch. Like the fuck is like, yeah, that's the brand. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I've always believed like honesty is the greatest self-defense.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Basil's gay, Basil's brown. It's like, I never fucking lied to you people. It's like,
yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like I'm sure people are gonna be pretty mad that like I'm interviewing you or whatever because you're gay and brown or whatever. It's like I don't like. What do you want? You want me to like hook them up to a car battery?
About the gay thing, right? It's like there's gay and there's the way we talk about it on the show is like gay and gay TM, right? It's like the point is not. When no one in America is a social conservative. Let's get that out of your fucking head right now. Like everyone, like your daughter's gonna date you or whatever. Like it's get that out of your. My parents came from a socially conservative country, where it's like I see social conservatives on timeline. They're like, my daughter's a God-fearing girl and she's not gonna date through college. Like, wow, you let your daughter out of the house? That is so progressive. Wow. So like I know what real social conservatism is, but the point is that I'm not gay TM. And what I mean by that is that I vocally oppose just like the inclusion of gender identity expression in the Civil Rights Act. Just prior to that, the just prior expansion of the Civil Rights Act was the inclusion of sexual orientation. And I'm just as opposed to that. Get rid of sexual orientation in the Civil Rights Act. Gay marriage isn't real. Sodomites should not be allowed to adopt children. PrEP should not be state sponsored. Insurance companies shouldn't be forced to cover it. All of those things are like material things that are connected to censorship and connected to state disbursements on this fake and gay like sexual identity, right? So it's like if I was out here like someone like a Dave Rubin or like a Brad Palumbo, who are ostensibly on the right, but who constantly punch right in defense of gay marriage and adopting kids and sexual orientation, the Civil Rights Act, then you're gay TM and you're actually a leftist. But me, on the other hand, I'm like, listen, what I do in my Ben Braddock is a homosexual. Benjamin Roberts is a homosexual. So many of these guys, a lot of these guys are,
Yeah.
you know, doing a lot of shit. The point is, are you going to punch right on the basis of who you fuck?
Yeah.
And that's the question of whether it's like, are you, I'm just a flamboyant guy over here. Who am I fucking? You got some names? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the thing.
Yeah, well, and to be totally honest, like probably like 5 or 6 years ago, probably would have never spoken to you or whatever. But it's like as I've matured and gotten older too, and I think probably becoming Catholic, I think has helped a lot with this. Is that like my goal is not to sit here and try to like play morality police with like every single person. It's like obviously like you know where I stand on it. I don't agree with it, but it's like
and I agree with you because I'm Muslim.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like a sodomy is a sin, fornication is a sin. Those are not good things. Like those are
yeah.
like,
Yeah, but it's like at the end of the day, like my goal is not to sit here and try to like play babysitter with every single like individual or whatever. It's like my goal is like to get my morality on a bigger world stage and to like sort of enforce it on a more national scale. And it's like I think you sort of like when you start like shutting out a little bit about like all these sort of little things, it's like at a certain point you kind of just get sort of like lost in the weeds a little bit. You know what I mean?
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I get a lot of Muslims who sometimes give me shit, and I'm like, I've never branded myself as a Muslim take seller. I'm like, yeah, I am Muslim. I'm a horrible Muslim. I'm very bad. I'm a sinner, whatever. I don't say what is good, what is permissible is forbidden, what's forbidden is permissible. Like I don't like twist the doctrine of my faith. But that being said, it's like I'm not your fucking priest. I didn't come here to tell you that I'm the moral authority to tell you what's right and wrong. Go ask God. I agree with whatever he says.
Yeah.
Period. So it's like if you think that you're going to come to me and I'm going to as like some sort of like arbiter of morality or how to live a moral life, actually you're the retard. I'm here telling you how the media market works, what the left is, what censorship is. Listen, you don't want to take it, go right the fuck ahead and don't take it. There are lots of people who say, oh, that's actually really fucking useful framing. So and they're better off for it. If you don't want to take it because you can't get over my like the lilt in my voice or my limp wrist, you're lost.
Yeah, well, and that's another good point too. Is like I think that you bring up is like the problem that I think a lot of people have with like these more like openly gay conservatives is the fact that like they do preach on morality so much. Like that's sort of like the conflict of interest really there is that you have somebody like Rob Smith like trying to dictate what is and is not moral to us in their society, and it's like okay, like not your lane, pal. Okay,
yeah, I don't need to hear Dave Rubin lecturing me about OnlyFans whores.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that'd be like me. Yeah, that'd be like me like walking up to my mechanic and be like, "Hey, I think you need to use a 3/4/8 Allen wrench on that." It's like I don't know the fucking thing about
like,
cars.
Stay in your fucking lane, buddy, and your lane is actually the left. Is what it really is because you're gay, married, and you've purchased children. And if someone said, "Oh, we should actually overturn Lawrence v. Texas," Lawrence v. Texas is the Supreme Court case that took sodomy laws off the books, right?
Yeah.
If you overturn that and put sodomy laws on the books, you would not hear a fucking peep out of me. I wouldn't care. Yeah. Because I don't fuck in the street. I don't fucking, you know what I'm saying? I don't fuck at all. I'm Volcel if anyone asks. But like the point is like, if that was a really in contention issue, Dave Rubin would be the first person to be like, there's a homophobia problem in the right wing, and that's why I left the right and I'm back with the whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, you know, of course he wants to like lecture people on the morality of like anti-Semitism or whatever. It's like, dude, you bought 2 kids. You bought 2 kids.
Be fucking for real.
Yeah.
What's worse, words or that? Or perfect example. So Milo, right, is infamous, of course. Yeah. And I don't know, allow me to gay out for a second, where it's like Milo created a specific type of archetype in right-wing discourse that didn't exist before. This kind of like sinister homosexual, right?
Yeah.
In a way, he's a pioneer. He's a trailblazer. He's Little Kim. I'm Nicki Minaj. I don't know if you get that reference, but I'm here to eat your whole lunch. And I'm here to fuck up your shit. Like that. Like your star is waning, and as mine like increases. But the thing is, like a perfect example of Milo being this type of way is everyone says that Benny Johnson's sleeps with men. Yeah. Everyone says that Benny Johnson fucks around with men, but Benny Johnson is married and has kids, etc., etc., etc. I don't give a fuck if someone cheats on their wife. Lots of men cheat on their wives.
Yeah.
Benny Johnson doesn't call himself gay, doesn't advocate for gay marriage, doesn't advocate for gay adoption, doesn't advocate for LGBT whatever, but Milo wants to pull him, quote unquote, out of the closet and make him gay.
Yeah.
You're being a leftist. You're ascribing this sexual identity, which is the basis for expanding the Civil Rights Act, right? The idea that people are, because before the 90s, before the sexual revolution, we all understood what, that was as a moral failing, not an intrinsic immutable identity. It was only after the Civil Rights Act and the sexual revolution that sodomites, like women, wanted to analogize themselves to blacks and say, no, this isn't a moral failing. This is innately who I am. I was born this way. But then the second they got sexual orientation in the Civil Rights Act, no one gave a fuck about born this way. No one gave a fuck about looking for a gay gene. They just dropped it like a hot potato.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Milo. I mean, we could probably do a whole stream just on Milo, honestly. The most evil, like, I'm not kidding. When I met him, I got to meet him like twice. The most, like, I've never had such a bad feeling about meeting someone.
Spirit jumps out.
Yeah, it's like you could. I mean, I'm not kidding. It was just like I felt like I was in the presence of like the Antichrist. Not to like hype him up because I'm sure he would probably.
No, it's like a deeply pit of a person.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that video when he was crashing out a couple years ago. Where he's like, "This is my hard drive. I call this the vault. I've got every conversation, every text message, every." I was like, if after that you still associated with this person, you still want to be around this person, that shows how stupid you are. But then of course, he's over there at fucking the guy from American Apparel, I forget his name. The guy from American Apparel's mansion that he's squatting in, that he had Pariah the doll living with him, that when Rawing Nationalist was in Los Angeles, had dinner with him. They're still right there with him.
Oh yeah.
The big 2025 at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and he's been like obviously just like wrapped up in all of this too. This whole like Bapsphere, Peter Thiel whole thing. You know, his connections to Marjorie Taylor Greene and you know all that. I mean, it runs deep. And people like again.
And he fucks black guys.
Oh yeah, he was married to a black guy.
Could it be? Never in my life. Never in my fucking life.
I think he's still married.
I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but like looking at how low the bar is, I'm like, never in my fucking life.
You know, Point Basil. Yeah, you got to give Point Basil there. You know.
Basil. Listen, I just practice safer sex. I don't fuck black guys.
That's fair. That's fair. You know.
I know the statistics. I don't fuck anyone. I'm Volcel.
Yeah.
I'm Volcel.
Yeah, you are based and trad gay. We love that. We love to see it. But no, I mean that. But kind of going back to the connections things. It's again. It's like it's so funny to me how like I guess people are just so naive about like how deep all of this runs, and it's like not to say that like your average person probably needs to know all of this per se, but it's like in the larger context of things, I think it's just important to at least point out that like for one, like very powerful people and very networked people are getting involved in all of this. But two, I think that the more important thing is I guess it's sort of like a white pill. It's like they're sort of doing this in opposition of what Nick and the Groypers have built in a certain sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like people want to sit there and try to make these arguments about like, oh, Nick hasn't done anything, which like I mean isn't true anyways. You can look at Joe Kent in Washington, you know, and all that stuff. But it's like
I feel comfortable with my white collar job saying with my whole chest a critique of Jewish supremacism is completely night and day different than what it was 3 years ago.
Oh, dude, yeah, completely.
I have no problem saying like, yeah, part of my brand is inclusive of a critique of Jewish supremacism.
Yeah,
you could not have done that 4 years ago without like looking over your shoulder.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a night and day difference, and like the Overton window has shifted so heavily now that like it's almost like completely unrecognizable. I mean, you even have people like, I mean, not that I'm a huge fan by any means, but Thomas Massey coming on Tucker Carlson talking about AIPAC. I mean, like that is like something that would be totally foreign to me, you know, 3 or 4 years ago, and now like the landscape's totally changed. And again,
I want to touch on something you said a second ago, which is like a lot of data points, right, for a normal person to engage with, right? Especially a normal person who has like a job or a family or whatever, right? You just engaging with Twitter, like it's a lot to digest. And I agree with that. It's like that's why I think it's like this. It goes back to what we were talking about all the way at the beginning, right? Where it's like, damn, I wish we talked before you had your Fishback interview, right? Where it's like not everyone needs to necessarily know all of the data points, right? But they should know who they could go to for like, it's like the same reason why I'm like always using that court eunuch Varys from Game of Thrones meme where I'm like, yeah, you should. There are people who do know these connections and do. So it's like it behooves you to at least like be like, hey, what do you think about this? Because it's like, because otherwise you kind of do this thing where without that anchor, a lot of people just kind of jump in and they get lost in the sauce and they're like, well, Martin's my friend. And you know, a really important thing that I think to remember about this whole like social media and parasocialism and all of this stuff is like, I think one of the greatest pieces of like lexicon that I picked up from the right wing sphere is like friend, FREN,
Yeah.
because like instead of friend, FRIEND,
Yeah.
where it's like, if you, there's tons of people you talk to every day, you DM them, you're in the replies, whatever, they're your friends, you know things about each other, you have a rapport with them. But I'm a big believer in, until you have met with someone face to face and broken bread with them, they know your name, they know your phone number, that's not your friend, that's
Yeah.
your friend.
Yeah.
And it's really important to remember, because a lot of these people will be in group chats where they're like, they're in the other group chat. We're like, oh yeah, Martin's in here, and oh maybe Indian Bronson's in here, or whoever the fuck is in here, and they'll be like, yeah, that's my friend, I talk to him every day. It's like, no. If you were not in the Amarna forums with, you know, Zero HP and Fisted by Foucault and Second City Bureaucrat and BAP, you're not their friend.
Yeah.
They will throw you under the bus in a second. Unless you've been face to face, hung out, broken bread, know their number, that type of shit, they are a take seller to you, and you have to maintain that kind of, you know, distance, that kind of healthy distance from them.
Well, even then, sometimes they'll throw you under the bus. I mean, like they did the same thing
I've
with
seen it.
Cantwalk.
I've experienced it, but I'm a very big, I take it very seriously when I'm like, no, we've met and we know each other's names, we know each other's numbers, we've broken bread. I will never be the person, even if you say the most egregious thing, I will never be the person to get messy on the timeline.
Yeah.
I might text you, I might whatever, but it's happened to me where it's like, whoa, we've had dinner multiple times, we've hung out, I've seen your kids, like and it's like, oh, because you're with TRS and TRS doesn't like me now, that it's fuck Basil. Like that shit is weird to me. But it's like, if we didn't have that, and you're just a guy who's been like my mutual for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, but we never met, you don't know my name, you don't know anything, and you denounce me or whatever, it's like, all right, whatever, it was just another guy on the internet. It doesn't phase me, you know, because you're not my friend.
Yeah, and I think that's really important too. That's a rule that I've always lived by. Like, dude, I was so like kind of like standoffish about this stuff. It's like I did a show with this guy named Sean for like 2 years, the Weekly Sweat, which I have a new co-host now. I still do that show, but like new co-host. But like he came to my town and met me, and like I was like, I'll meet you at the restaurant. Like you're not coming to my house. Like I was that's how like standoffish I was. Like I still was like very paranoid about it. I didn't really like open up until like maybe like I went to the first half pack or whatever, and it was like good timing because I quit my job and I was like streaming full time. So it was like it just kind of all happened. I was like, well, maybe I can like let my guard down a little bit. But even then, it's like, yeah, you still get burnt all the time. Like the group chat like dynamic has been the downfall of so many people because like you said, people get in there and they think everyone's friends. It's like, dude, you're in a like room with like 50 other people. Like, you know what I mean? You don't know what they look like. You don't know their names. They could, I mean, not to like, I've never been particularly fond of like the Fed accusations or anything like that because I think that that's like largely foolish and very paranoid, but they could be though.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing that you're afraid of feds?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I've never understood this. It's like I'm not.
It's like, okay, what are they gonna say, that I'm fat and I'm brown and I'm gay and I'm horny for white men in the DMs? Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not breaking the law, dude. Like I'm not out here like.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and like they keep saying, "Oh, Nick's a Fed." It's like, really? Because I've known him for like 9 years, and he's never once like sent me like schematics for a bomb or anything. You know, I feel like that would have come up by now. You know.
And it's always funny when people, because the whole dissident right sphere was kind of bifurcated for a long time between the BAP sphere and Nick, and it was always so funny to me when people who are associated with or liked the BAP sphere would call Nick a Fed. I'm like, dude, let's take a step back. Let's assume it's even true, right? The Fed, for whatever they are a government organization with laws and guardrails and due process and all this shit. You people are funded by Palantir and Arendelle, the privatized feds who have none of those restrictions on them. So it's like, to be funded by the privatized feds and cast aspersions on someone else as being a Fed, it's like the height of absurdity.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And again, it's like, I mean, half these people aren't even American. You know what I mean? Like that's the funniest part about
That's
it
the
too.
thing. Don't listen to non-Americans. Beware foreign influence.
Yeah. It's crazy. But it's like going back to the group chat thing, it's like like obviously you should have good OPSEC, but even then again, it's like these group chats, so many people get caught up in it, like again, like sort of like parasocial sort of relationships that people like that form. And I think it's like that's how this sort of loyalty to the take seller sort of commences. It's like really all you have to do, and I've seen this, and I've done it a few times. It's like all you have to do to get someone's undying loyalty is just to start a group chat and invite them into it, and they think
Yeah.
they will fucking fall on the sword for you. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane what some grown men will do for what I call head pats. Just
Yeah.
a like, a retweet, and invites, like I said, the other group chat. Because it's like, there's a group chat that's BAP, Second City Bureaucrat, Fisted by Foucault, Zero HP Lovecraft, like they're core 10 guys.
Yeah.
And then they have a million other intersecting ones with 50 people, 50 people, 50 people, 50 people. And a perfect example of that was again Tranny because it's like I knew why that tranny was in the magazine, right? But then you had Ren coming out on the timeline and throwing Astral under the bus and being like, "Oh, Astral did it without our knowledge," and blah blah blah. It's like Passage Press sponsored the fashion show. What are you talking about? And it's like, yeah, you're just gonna come out here and lie, and then have all of your other like underlings in the other group chats come out and run with the lie that you told them. Just straight up lying to your guys,
Yeah.
and that's exactly that's how much they value you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like people, I don't know. Like it's sort
Your
of
It's important to remember your KPIs to them, your key performance indicators to them. When you like and retweet whatever, that's what they go and they show Barry Weiss and they say, "Look at my impressions, look at my retweets, look at my likes, look at my diehard fans." And you think that you're friends with these people, and all they're going to tell you is to go die for Israel and vote for JD Vance.
yeah, and because it's sort of like this like vicious cycle in a way, because a lot of these guys that get involved and sort of become these like slavish loyal people are and this I mean they're kind of like losers in real life for the most part, like, or at least like in some sort of way like socially maladjusted people. It's like part of the reason why they're probably here, and then they get here, and then that whole sphere is basically designed to keep them in that position.
Why do you think they want you to? Why do you think that they want you to post Hitler edits?
Yeah,
Why do you think that they want you to post about Cunny? So
yeah,
that way you are compromised,
yeah,
and you will be undyingly loyal to them. That's why Matt Forney, when he doxes me, and it's like, "Oh, I'm just an attorney. You got me. You couldn't fucking do that in your whole fucking life if your fucking life depended on it." And then you turn around and you wonder why you attract these types of maladjusted neats and losers, because anyone with anything to lose, the second they step out of line, you're going to try to ruin their life.
yeah, exactly. Which is so. By the way, like I feel like I'm in a fucking time machine. Like Matt Forney is back. Like what? Like, dude, I wish again. I have history with everybody. My brain's a fucking Rolodex. I remember this guy coming on my show like 5, 6, 7 years ago and like groveling and apologizing to me because of how wrong and stupid he was. And like, I really got to dig up the clip and send it to you because you'll get a real kick out of
I'll
it.
get a kick out of it.
He
Yeah, no, he's a complete obsequious fucking worm. Like, have you ever seen that Rick and Morty episode where the dad turns into like a slug?
yeah,
And he's like, he is literally that.
yeah,
And it's like, it's because he has nothing to offer. He has no talent, nothing to whatever. So all he has is to kind of like, oh, this is a thing that has, movement. I'm going to attach myself to it. And I noticed when he first came back was even before like he started to kind of really get integrated with them, he was defending the Red Scare girls. And I quoted him, I was like, yeah, you actually don't have to defend these two leftists, because when you do that, what you're doing is you're giving them quote unquote fascist bona fides that they use to sell themselves to the distant right. The same thing when like leftists call them fascists. Like you're actually helping them, because that's what they say. They're like, look, the left hates us. We belong with you guys, right? So it's like it was early on, and then I realized like, oh, look at that. You know who buys Terror House? Passage Press buys Terror House. And then when Jonathan Keeperman and John Doyle get picked up by Blaze, who else got picked up by Blaze? Matt Forney. It's like, oh, okay, there's your patronage network. There's your connection.
I do think it's funny that he was only there for like a day. Like he tweeted out like how proud he was. I am now a contributor for the, and then like what 24 hours later, yeah, like oh man,
I just know that when Captain Dreamer saw that, his kind of heart sank, because he's like, fuck, if Matt Forney can't get picked up, I can't get picked up. They're gonna pull up all my old tweets. They're gonna do that. I can't get mainstreamed.
Yeah,
And that's why he looks sad. If you saw those pictures of AtPack, he looks sad because it's like, you can't be mainstream. You can't, because you were kind of lost in the sauce, little foot soldier, little faggot, like dick sucker, and that's all you're ever gonna be.
Yeah. Well, he was also probably sad because the only person there he had to hang out with him and who knew who he was John Doyle, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You couldn't catch me in that picture. I'd be like,
Yeah, Matt Forty though, man, like that was such a weird thing to see him come back and then like start doxing you because it's like, I mean, this guy's whole history, by the way, is just insane. Like, used to be a fucking sex tourist, like
yeah,
right,
yeah. I'm sure every prostitute that he fucked in the Philippines was over the age of 14. I have no reason to believe he would pay anyone under the age of 14 to sleep with him.
yeah,
I don't believe it when people say that.
yeah, no, male or female, they were at least
Male or female.
14.
And I don't believe he raped that girl by sticking in her ass, whatever her name was. I forget. He wrote an article about it. I don't believe his self-admitted rape story.
Oh
I don't believe
yeah,
anyone has sex with him.
yeah, no, absolutely not. He's got the most like misshapen head I've ever seen him. It's like
Truly disgusting.
it's like a fucking like octagon. Like it's so
Like,
fucking
I'm
weird.
fat, but dude, you look like you were like fucking beat with an ugly stick, dude. It's not. It's pathetic. And I remember during the DeVere Ball when Pariah had his debut, they brought him out from Mexico. They had to do a GoFundMe to get him back to Mexico. Like, dude, why? Because you got to buy 2 seats. What's going on?
I mean, either way, you're either too fat and you have to buy 2 seats, or you're just broke, which is also embarrassing.
It's like, I stopped listening. I'm a broke ass bum ass bitch who don't have no money. And that thing is like, Basil's an attorney, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. We hate attorneys, and
God forbid.
Yeah. That's nuts, man. Like, just the whole saga with it, and you also you're getting into it with Anna for a little bit too, weren't you?
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. It's like, so when I was in that post left sphere and I was using this trans question as a litmus test, they kind of loved me at that when I first started doing it because it embarrassed their market rivals. So it embarrassed people like River Page, who now works for Barry Weiss's The Free Press with an intermediary stop at Mike Solana's Pirate Wires. So there you go, like Red Scare, Mike Solana's Founders Fund, Peter Thiel's Pirate Wires to Barry Weiss's Free Press. They liked it because it kind of embarrassed their rivals. But then it really rubbed Jack the Perfume Nationalist. I don't know if you know who that is. It rubbed him the wrong way because he had all of these like tranny friends and drag queen friends that he was trying to like put on as podcasters. So what they did was they're like, no one knew who I was. I had like less than 1,000 followers. I'd only been around for like a year. They're like, Basil's crazy and Basil's obsessed and blah blah blah. Da, da, da. And what it was like a solid 3-year like blackball campaign where at least 10 people have told me that like, oh, I interacted with you or I retweeted you, and like they would DM me saying to block you and that you're crazy and da 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 da. And it's like people who eventually like got to know me in real life and be like, yeah, no, they are like out to get you. So eventually what happened was like I started going to like events in the city and stuff like that. There was 2 events. There was one that was completely not even an event. And also you have to remember, it's like these types of events at like Sovereign House or when they have like I Am 1776 has events in Austin or Los Angeles, you have to think of it as like a trade show. This is like a media market trade show. You're meant to go see other take sellers and hang out and suck and fuck and whatever the case may be, It's like you're just supposed to like, rub shoulders. So one was me and my friends went to a Morrissey concert in the city. I had no idea this bitch was going to be there. At the end of the fucking concert, we order our Uber. I'm looking at Twitter and I see Anna posted about being there. I was like, and I look up and there she's literally there. And I'm like, I'm going to go say hi, whatever. Like, she knows who I am. I know she is. So I go up, I'm like, hey, I'm Basil. She goes, oh, I know who you are. You're the guy who says that we can't be friends with Pariah because she's trans. I go, that's not quite it. It's like more about censorship, but it's like, I don't like, but thank you. Like, thank you that you recognize the brand enough. And like literally not even 10 seconds go by and our cab comes. I'm like, well, it was nice to meet you. I was like, actually, would you mind taking, like, can we get a picture? She's like, I don't know. I'm friends with Jack. I was like, say less. Don't worry about it. My cab's here anyway. So maybe a 30 second interaction. A couple months later, like I said, at Sovereign House, they had an event for Chris Rufo, sponsored by I Am 1776 and all this stuff. And I go and she's also there. But if you've ever been to Sovereign House, they have a bar, and I'm online for the bar, and I'm the next person online for the bar, and she's posted up at the bar, stood at the bar facing the other way. So like I'm online facing this way, and she's facing this way. I'm like, oh, hello. And she's like, so what's your deal with Jack? And I was like, it's a long story. He started with me. It's like, I don't really want to get into it. Again, maybe another 20-second interaction while I get my beer or whatever. That's it. Now, fast forward all these months later, right? She tweets something about like, you could tell who's a good person by like who engages, not by what they say on the timeline, but how they engage behind the scenes, whether they engage in like smear campaigns or whatever. And I quoted her, I was like, you saying this is fucking hilarious because I seen the screenshots of you in the group chats being like, "Oh, I'm so scared of Basil." Da, 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 da. She's like, "I am scared of you. You've cornered me twice in public." Da, 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 da. I was like, so now you're trying to Me Too me? Because really, if you think about it too, it's like the reason why these girls popped off was because back in 2015 they had a critique of Me Too. They were
Yeah.
pro Harvey Weinstein. That's the only thing that they've ever contributed to the discourse. That and pushing Pariah.
Yeah.
That was the only two things that they've ever done. And I was like, how fucking ironic that you did that. And now 10 years later, you're trying to be like, I'm scared of Basil. I'm just a little girl and I'm so scared. I'm like, because I said hello to you twice in like 4 months. Because we were at events I didn't know you were going to be at. So it was like very interesting that she tried to Me Too me. It's like, it didn't work, obviously, but it's very funny. And my thing is, even to this day, I'm like, I just want you to acknowledge that you're a fucking cunts to me. Like, that's all I want. I have no like chip on my shoulder. My shit's doing well. Like Benny and Basil show's popping off. Like I don't have a vendetta against you, but it's like I also have no incentive to keep my foot off of your neck about the whole like Bronze Age Barry Weiss sphere because you're fucking cunts to me. The very least you could do is be like, even with this Matt Fournier when he doxed me, he's like, he assaulted Anna. I DM'd her right away. I was like, oh, I assaulted you now? Like what? I went from saying hi to now I assaulted you. Like, all right, bitch.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's the trials and tribulations of being a brown man.
No, I love hearing the backstory because I've always seen the tweet, which I didn't even know the backstory. I just saw it. I was like, based as fuck. That's awesome. Like, you know what I mean? I've never. Basil scaring the hose. Oh no, you know, like I don't give a shit. Fuck her. But I'm glad to know the backstory because I figured it's probably something innocuous like that. I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, because this is what happens with these like women all the time. It's like they want to posture, pretend like they're like, oh, I'm post left, blah blah blah. But the second that they're gonna face any sort of adversity, they're gonna retreat.
HR?
Yeah, retreat right back into that comfy little like blanket, you know.
And you know what's so funny is what happened because of that. One of their lemmings, this guy named Snakeskin, his name is Matt McGuire. He lives in Louisiana. Matt McGuire. He's the CEO of this fake company called Safe Stamp. Matt McGuire. Anyway, I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. You want to dox me? Who gets doxed, bitch? So what he did was like started like posting on this shit like, oh, let's go visit his mom, and he posting like knives and guns, and I was like, oh word, hello police, I'm fucking scared. And now he has a warrant for his arrest in Jersey. I'm like, don't fucking, that's the thing, is like, because you did this whole like, I'm a small bean woman, and your fucking insane fans take that as permission to go try to dox me and do this and do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, you want to keep, and that's how this whole thing works. It's like when you're a take seller, when you're a notable figure, you want to keep your hands clean. You're not going to be like, Anna doesn't want to have it to be like, oh, well, I told people to go dox this person. No, but you didn't say anything while your insane fan did this.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that months and months and months ago, maybe a year or two prior, he was being mean to Jack the Perfume Nationalist, and she jumped into his DMs being like, don't do that, that's mean, da 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 da. It's like, oh, so you're willing to get involved for your friend, right? But when you see him doing this, you're not going to get involved, right? Because you want to keep your hands clean. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, we're getting into the weeds a little bit.
Yeah, so I like it. I love the tea.
We lost half the audience. So like, what's going on?
No, I love the tea. Dude, I'm a 37-year-old single man. All right, like I love.
Like, you know, we gotta live. We gotta have a little spice of life.
Yeah, dude, it's like the spice of life. Normally for me is like I'll watch like Twin Peaks or something. You know, like that's my excitement. So
the Real Housewives of the timeline.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love it, dude. I love it. Yeah, I don't want to keep you for too much longer though. We've been here like 2 hours, and so I don't want to like, Well,
I'm sure, let me plug my shit.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up. So, yeah, check out the Betty and Basil show on YouTube. We're starting weekly episodes in February. The every other week will be available to patrons only. So check out patreon.com/Betty Basil Show. We have an interview with Casey Putsch that's coming out on Wednesday on YouTube. If you subscribe to the Patreon, you get that now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to finally get to talk to you.
I know. Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime. This is super fun.
You absolutely have to.
Yeah. All right, everybody, follow him. God bless. See you soon, man.
Bye.
Bye. Do.